So why is the president-elect so quick to dismiss concerns about Russian hacking? 17 U.S. intelligence agencies agree that this happened. They disagree as to what the motive likely was, but they all agree it happened. Is the president-elect still not convinced that Russia was behind the attacks?
Well, Jake, there's two aspects of this. One is the political nature of this, and I think that there's been an effort by some on the left in particular to undermine the legitimacy of his enormous win on Election Day. And I think that we've got to separate that out. He won big. He carried 304 electoral votes. He won in states that no one thought he had a chance of carrying it. And I think the folks on the left, prior to the election, questioned his commitment to accepting the results. And it seems ever since Election Day, they've gone out of their way to question the legitimacy of the election. I think that's the political aspect of this. The intelligence aspect of this is the following. The intelligence community, if we're going to make such broad sweeping claims about the involvement of anybody in the legitimacy of an election and the integrity of our election systems, then I think we need to have the intelligence community come forward publicly and on the record and make it clear exactly how this happened and who was responsible for it. But right now we continue to get unsourced media accounts for what the activity is. And I think that's not acceptable. If truly there is someone to blame, then I think that we should have Congress notified, go through the appropriate congressional hearings, but get the Intelligence Committee, as they did in October, come out very publicly with the findings that they have. But at what point is it incumbent upon you guys in the media to ask the DNC what measures did they take to protect this? Because it seems to me as though that there's a lot of talk about the DNC not doing what they should have done to protect their own
right.
network servers. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. To be clear, any attempt to hack or to do anything nefarious is wrong and illegal. But at some point, the question hasn't even been asked of the DNC. Did you take basic measures to protect the data that was on there? No one wrote those emails, no one put a private server on there, and no one seems to have done the due diligence at the DNC to protect their own systems.
I don't think there's any question that they did a horrible job.
But no, but you haven't. But have you ever asked that question of anyone at the DNC? Where's the responsibility of them to protect their systems? The outcome is not acceptable. I agree with that. Nobody is by any way, shape saying that or suggesting that that's acceptable behavior. But I don't believe once I've ever seen an interview where anyone at the DNC was ever asked a question about whether they take any responsibility for what it clearly appears to be a lax effort on them to protect their own networks.